You're fired. Those two words hung in the stale air of the glass-walled office, buzzing louder than the cheap fluorescent lights overhead. I stared at the man sitting across from me. Gary, the new regional manager who had been with the company for exactly 3 weeks. He was leaning back in his ergonomic chair, a smug grin plastered across his face, looking like he had just checkmated a grandmaster. Excuse me? I asked, genuinely confused. Did you say I'm fired? You heard me, Gary said, tapping his finger on the desk. Specifically, he was tapping on a cheap, plastic, blue Bic pen. We have a zero-tolerance policy for theft in this company. I don't care who you are or how long you've been here. You steal from the company, you're out. I looked at the pen. The 50-cent pen. The same pen that was available by the boxload in the supply closet. The same pen that I had absent-mindedly clipped to my shirt pocket after signing a delivery manifest 10 minutes ago. Gary, I started, trying to keep my voice steady. Are you serious? It's a pen. I've been the senior systems architect here for 5 years. I built your entire server infrastructure. I practically sleep in the server room during Black Friday sales. And you're firing me over a pen? Gary stood up, adjusting his cheap suit. It's not about the value of the item, it's about the principle. It's about integrity. If you'd steal a pen, what else would you steal? Data? Client lists? I'm making an example of you. Pack your things. Security will escort you out in 10 minutes. I looked at him. Really looked at him. I saw the insecurity in his eyes. He didn't care about the pen. He was intimidated. I was the guy who knew where all the bodies were buried, digitally speaking. I was the guy who had corrected him in a meeting yesterday when he tried to propose a cloud migration strategy that would have exposed our entire database to the public internet. He needed me gone to assert dominance. He wanted to be the alpha dog. A normal person might have begged. A normal person might have yelled. But in that moment, a strange calmness washed over me. It was a cold, calculating clarity. I realized something that Gary, in his infinite MBA wisdom, had completely overlooked. Okay, I said softly. Gary blinked, surprised by my lack of resistance. Okay? Yes. You're the boss. Zero tolerance. I understand. I stood up, slowly. I'll grab my jacket and leave immediately. You won't have to worry about me. I didn't even go back to my desk to clear my personal files. I didn't want to give him a single reason to accuse me of tampering with anything. I walked straight to the elevator, escorted by a confused security guard named Mike who had known me for years. Sorry about this, man, Mike whispered as we reached the lobby. This is insane. Don't worry about it, Mike, I smiled, and I meant it. Just do me a favor. When the lights go out, tell Gary I said good luck. Mike looked confused, but I just walked out into the bright afternoon sun. I took a deep breath. Freedom. But as I drove home, the smile on my face grew wider. You see, Gary had made a critical, $10 million mistake. Let me explain the setup. Our company, a mid-sized logistics firm handling massive contracts for retail giants, ran on a legacy system. It was a spaghetti code mess that I had inherited 5 years ago. I had spent thousands of hours patching it, optimizing it, and keeping it alive. One of the key components of our infrastructure was a secure gateway that allowed our biggest client, let's call them Megacorp, to interface with our inventory in real time. If that gateway went down, Megacorp couldn't place orders. If they couldn't place orders, our trucks didn't move. If trucks didn't move, we faced penalties of roughly $50,000 an hour. To keep this gateway secure, we used specialized SSL certificates. These are like digital passports that tell the internet, hey, this site is safe and real. 3 years ago, when the company was going through a rough patch, the corporate credit card was maxed out. The certificates were expiring, and the automated renewal failed. To save the day, I had used my personal credit card to renew them. I registered the account to my personal email address because the corporate email server was down that day, another fire I had to put out. I had tried to transfer ownership of that account to the company multiple times over the years. I sent emails to finance. I sent emails to the previous operations manager. I even brought it up in quarterly reviews. The response was always the same, we'll get to it later, or just expense it for now, it's easier. So, I did. Every year, I paid the $200 fee, expensed it, and kept the system running. But here's the kicker. The renewal was set for automatic payment. And the notification emails? They went to me. Only me. And the expiration date? 3 days from now. When Gary fired me, he ordered HR to immediately cut off my access to everything. My company email? Deactivated. My Slack account? Deleted. My keycard? Bricked. By following protocol so strictly to humiliate me, he had cut the only line of communication the system had to warn them of the impending doom. I went home. I cracked open a beer. I updated my resume. And then, I did the most important thing of all. I logged into the certificate authority provider's website using my personal email. I navigated to the billing section. There it was. My personal Visa card, set to auto-renew the certificates for the company's multi-million-dollar infrastructure. I hovered my mouse over the Remove Payment Method button. Was this petty? Maybe. Was it illegal? Absolutely not. I had been fired. I was no longer an employee. Why should I pay for a former employer's business expenses? That would be fiscally irresponsible of me. Click. Payment method removed. Then, just to be thorough, I went to notification settings. I unchecked the box that said send renewal reminders to registered email. After all, I didn't want to be spammed with work emails. I was unemployed now. I needed to focus on my mental health. Click. Save changes. Now, we wait. Day 1 passed. Silence. I imagined Gary strutting around the office, telling everyone how he had cleaned house and trimmed the fat. Day 2 passed. I went fishing. It was a lovely day. Day 3. The D-Day. It started at 9 a.m. on a Monday. The busiest time of the week. I was enjoying a late breakfast when my phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. I ignored it. 2 minutes later, it buzzed again. Different number. Ignored. Then, a text from Mike, the security guard. Dude. The war room is screaming. Everyone is running around like headless chickens. Gary looks like he's gonna throw up. I chuckled and took a sip of coffee. By 10 a.m., my phone was practically vibrating off the table. 17 missed calls. 3 voicemails. I finally decided to listen to one. It was Gary. Hey, it's Gary. Look, we have a bit of a situation here. The system is throwing up some security errors. Clients can't connect. IT says something about a certificate. Call me back. Immediately. His voice didn't have that smug alpha tone anymore. It sounded high-pitched. Panicked. I didn't call back. 11 a.m. The penalties were now racking up. Megacorp had probably initiated their failure to perform clause. That's $50,000 an hour, plus damages for lost sales. 11:30 a.m. My phone rang again. It was the CEO. The big boss. The guy who usually only visited the office once a quarter. I decided to answer this one. Hello? I answered, sounding groggy, like I had just woken up. Is this him? The CEO barked. Yes. Who is this? This is Mr. Henderson. Why aren't you answering your phone? The entire system is down. We are losing thousands by the minute. Mr. Henderson, I said calmly. I don't work for you. Gary fired me 3 days ago. For stealing a pen. Remember? There was a long silence on the other end. I could almost hear the gears turning in his head. What? He fired me. For theft. A 50-cent pen. Security escorted me out. I have no access to your systems, and frankly, I have no interest in helping a company that treats 5-year veterans like criminals. Listen, Henderson's voice softened, desperate. We know it's the SSL certificates. The provider says the account is under your name. We need the login. Now. That is my personal account, I replied. I can't just give you my password. That would be a security risk for me. Besides, I'm busy today. Busy doing what? Looking for a job. Since I was fired for cause, I need to find income fast. We will hire you back, Henderson shouted. Double your salary. Just fix it. No, I said. I don't want to work for Gary. And I don't want to work for a company that allows people like Gary to make decisions. Gary is gone. Henderson screamed. I fired him 10 minutes ago. He's packing his box right now. Please. I see. I paused for dramatic effect. Here's my offer. I will come in as an external consultant. One-time fee. Fine. Anything. What's your rate? $20,000. Cashier's check. Plus a formal letter of recommendation signed by you, stating that the theft allegations were false and that I left on good terms. And I want it delivered by courier to my house before I touch a keyboard. $20,000? That's extortion. No, Mr. Henderson. That is the market rate for emergency high-level systems recovery. Every minute we talk is costing you another $1,000 in penalties from Megacorp. Do we have a deal? He sputtered. He cursed. Then he did the math. $20,000 was nothing compared to losing the Megacorp contract, which was worth millions. Deal. I'm sending the courier now. 2 hours later, a courier arrived with a check in the letter. I deposited the check via my mobile app, waited for the confirmation, and then, and only then, did I open my laptop. I logged into the certificate provider. I entered the company's corporate card information, which Henderson had texted me. I clicked renew. Total time to fix, 45 seconds. I texted Henderson, it's done. You might need to restart the servers. The system came back online. The bleeding stopped. But the damage was done. Megacorp was furious about the 6-hour outage. They didn't cancel the contract immediately, but they reduced their volume by 40% and moved it to a competitor. That 40% loss represented about $10 million in revenue over the next fiscal year. The company's stock took a 15% hit that quarter. As for me, I took the $20,000 and took a month-long vacation to Thailand. When I came back, I used that glowing letter of recommendation to land a lead architect role at a competitor with a 30% raise. I heard later that Gary struggled to find work. Apparently, caused a $10 million loss because of a pen is a hard thing to explain in an interview. The moral of the story? If you're going to fire the only guy who knows how to fly the plane, maybe wait until you've landed first. And never, ever underestimate the power of a 50-cent pen.